Hi, I'm Mary Hodson, and welcome to this very special edition of Chamber Connection. I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and we're in the Chamber of Commerce new office, and tonight is our artist reception for the Participate Hutchinson, a community mural project. I'm standing by the original pieces that were sent to us, some done by hand, some were digital, but we have the original pieces, what they look like when they came in for their original designs. We're going to introduce you to some of the artists tonight and also take you to see some of the actual murals that are here in the town, how they turned out in the end. So come along. All right, I have my first victim, artist with me, Beth Gosser, who is not only an artist, but also a friend and a former board chair. Thanks for being here and for your beautiful piece, Just Add You. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your piece and how you came up with the idea?
Well, I knew I wanted something that was interactive and down low, so it could be photographed easy, and little kids and all sizes could reach it. So that was a piece of it. And I wanted something that was really inclusive. So I love angel wings, but I also know that everybody loves butterflies. So I picked butterflies and the colors. Angel wings were so white, and I couldn't quite wrap my head around how to do that. So went with butterfly wings, and I just hope it's a piece that people can stop by and have fun with. And I have since had lots of people come up and say they had their 40th wedding anniversary pictures taken with it, and people I don't know. It's just kind of really fun to hear the stories. So.
You know, it's on Quirky Places of Minnesota Facebook page.
That was there before I think I was already almost done with it, and took me a little by surprise.
Yeah, it took all of us by surprise, but a fun one.
Yeah. I've since followed that page, and it's super fun to see all the touristy fun parts to go to in Minnesota. Yeah.
Okay, so Beth, I'm going to ask you, because now tonight we're announcing that we're doing the second year of Murals. Mm-hmm. I just want to know, is your brain turning? You don't have to tell us details, but I want to know if your brain is turning for next year.
It is. I've got ideas. I've got a couple of concepts on how to do another interactive, but completely different. So
awesome. Well, we are going to look forward to seeing that design in March. Wonderful. If you have a design that you'd like to submit, you can get an application either online at explorehutchinson.com, and in the search, click in Murals, or you can stop down here at the office. Thank you for your beautiful work.
You're welcome. Thank you. So my idea was to build a template. I've done a lot of murals indoors, and I typically have a little bit more control over that drawing process. So I wanted to draw a cardboard template of the wings and trace it so that I'd have the perfect size and structure on the wall, and go from there. So ahead of time, I asked Keith Hikus, my friend who owns Factory Direct, to save me large furniture boxes. And I taped them together. I thought I did the measuring. I drew it all out. I spent a nice long day getting it perfect and stored it so that when I had the scaffolding rented, the weekend reserved, and everything ready to go, I could rock and roll really quick. When I got there, though, 20 feet. It was huge, and it wasn't going to work. So with 15 minutes to spare, I called Keith. I asked him to quickly call his staff at the warehouse, and they started pulling emergency cardboard for me. I had to run home because the template filled the back of my truck. I dumped it off as fast as I could, drove across town. His staff were there, somewhat panicked, loading emergency cardboard, not even knowing what that was, into my truck. And I got it home, unloaded it, the pieces taped together, redrew the wings, X-Acto knifed them out, and drove them back over. And within half an hour, my husband was back up on the scaffolding with help from Bo and Colleen Young, in the wind, in the heat, and we got the wings back up on the wall and traced so that I could paint all weekend long. So,
all right, I am here with Tara Tepley. If you follow along, you know that she's a bestie, and she owns the paint factory.
I do.
But this was a different experience for you.
It was.
Tell us about your experience doing Starry Hutch.
Oh, goodness. Starry Hutch, when you first came up with the idea for Murals, I knew the moment you said it what I wanted to do, because Van Gogh's my favorite artist.
I mean, it's not like I didn't know what you would probably do.
Yeah. And Starry Night, I've painted on like everything.
Yeah.
Like hats, shoes, pants,
earrings.
like canvas. I mean, everything. And so when this idea came up, like the community project, I was like, well, in place of the cypress tree, we'll just put Little Crow and then some other elements of Hutch in there. So the concept was easy to come up with.
Easy.
The sheer size of it
was different.
Oh yeah, and I picked where I wanted it too, and I got it. So that was really fun.
Yes. Yeah. So when we were in that process, you were actually on the committee as well.
I was.
Which was great because we had an artist input. But also businesses could apply to have, or a building owner could apply to have a mural on their building.
Yes.
And then there were a few that we knew where we'd really like them to go. So we went to the building owners, and the building owner for the building that your piece is on said, yeah, I like that, but I'm afraid I might have to take it down and I don't want to ruin it. Well, that's when we have the panels that can go up onto the building into the brick.
Yeah, and so ideally, I was going to paint the panels downstairs in the basement of the paint factory because I thought that'd be really easy. Don't have to deal with weather elements. We don't have to deal with any of that. And then I picked them up, and I didn't realize how big it was going to be. And we could fit basically like 6 of the 12 panels in an area.
Yeah.
So even the background, like priming them was an ordeal because I had like all my staff at that time, like 3 of my gals down there, and we literally had it down to an art of which way panels needed to face because we had to put like 3 coats of primer, I think, on each panel in
Panel
and of itself.
Tetris.
Yes.
In the basement.
Panel Tetris.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
So you came up with the genius idea instead of trying to paint the whole mural down there on the pieces and parts. Put the backdrop up. Yes. And paint from there.
Yeah, it actually ended up working out great because I knew physically there was no way with all the stages that this painting, as soon as I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. All the stages, because that's kind of, I created the concept based on how we do a lot of our canvases at the studio, and it's like in layers. Yeah. So yeah, we had Viking Signs came, put it up, and so then it was finding the scaffolding even that we worked out like a charm from Ace, and just getting up there and working in stages. And we said, I think it was great because I think I was one of the first ones to start and I was the absolute last to finish. So we pressed the elements both ways. In the heat of summer, like the 100-degree plus days, fighting off the bees with my rackets and not bees, my wasps. Yeah. And then taking it to literally where we're like, can I go this cold? Right. At night.
Yeah, we were even in the watching the sun where once the sun came to a certain point or once it left, it was safer. Yeah. You mentioned a couple of things. Ace Hardware, Dave at Ace Hardware, everybody in Hutch knows how great he is to work
amazing.
with.
Yeah.
That's where we got the paint. He was great with the scaffolding. Yep. And then you also mentioned Dalen. Yes. Dalen Jones from Viking Signs.
They were so great.
Put all of those up for us. So yeah, big shout out to those guys as well.
They were great.
Awesome. It turned out beautiful.
Thank you. It was a work of love and a work of time, but it was well worth it, I think. It was edited a little bit from the original, but it was just fun.
It turned out great. It turned out great. And I thought it was interesting that people were already taking pictures in front of it
before it was
even finished.
Well, and it's fun because it's an interactive piece as well, because if you've been to see it yet, or if you hunt it down, it's in an alley, so you have to hunt it down. But yeah, there's a paintbrush in front of it. So I wanted to create it so that people could like stand in front of the paintbrush and be like that they're painting the town of Hutchinson, because it's got the loose line element in there, the river, and Little Crow. So
go jump in.
Starry Hutch.
All right, I am here with the infamous, if not famous, twins. Do you guys get sick of hearing that?
I don't hear it very much.
Cass and Kira. They're twins. They are from Hutch. They've moved away. They come back. They move away. They get onto national television. They're all over the internet. You guys are like a sensation.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah. She sounds super excited about that, doesn't she? Yeah. Let's just talk about the murals today, because we could talk about so much more, right? But let's just talk about the murals. Tell us a little bit about, so you have the one that's on Genesis, the Way Up.
Yes.
And then you also have the Crow River Moon. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just tell us, what were you thinking, or how did you come up with these designs?
Sure. The Way Up was a digital design originally. I just gotten an iPad, and I really wanted to better my art that way. And it was just like I wanted to do something simple, but something pretty and a nice meaning behind it. So it was kind of about the seasons changing. I was in Hutch when I drew it. And then the Crow River. So that's kind of where the inspiration for the
What's
crow. Yeah. That's growing up that river.
I'm going to tell you, right? The crow is not by nature a pretty animal, I don't think. I mean, there's much prettier birds. You just posted some beautiful photos.
Oh, yeah,
that
you
one
did.
with the blue wing.
Stellar's Jay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But your crow is pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it pretty. I like making pretty work.
Okay, so Kira, you have the I always called it the pastel cow,
Oh yeah, I did.
but you
too.
call it the sunset
it was evening grays.
evening grays.
But
Thank you.
I did originally call it the pastel cow because I did it in pastels.
See how that works?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's just talk about that for a minute. So anybody that's familiar from art school, pastels to paint on a building. How does
it's
that?
Not, it was a challenge, but I liked it so much because of the color, and that's oil pastels accentuate that a lot. So I wanted to try it, and I've never done a mural, so it was a bit intimidating. But we actually did it in one day with 3 people. Yeah. 3 people.
It was the shortest mural going up of any of the murals.
Really? Wow.
But it's so got so much detail and so much to it, you wouldn't think that. But you guys had some help.
Yes.
And so, it turned out great.
Oh,
You
thank
would never know that you didn't, have an image pasted on the wall,
That yeah. The
Because it
initial
turned-
drawing was definitely the hardest part.
right?
Yeah.
So it was amazing, but it was also fun. So I was there when you were sizing up, because everybody has a different process in doing this. I really wish I'd been watching for the Genesis one, but I was out of town. But I watched you guys. You had the image there, and then you were up on the scaffolding, and someone else is telling you, "Oh, I'm not sure." Kes got down and backed away and went, "Oh no, you're right on track." Bricks help when you're gridding, right? So it was just really fun to see that process and how you were all working together. Thank you for bringing your unique styles onto such large canvases for us. And now we have your art right here for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. For,
It's been
letting us
amazing
do it.
to see that. It was more rewarding than I thought it would be, for sure.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it's beautiful work, and we're so happy to have it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm with Cynthia Buckholtz, who did the beautiful quilt block piece that is on the quilt shop. And you had some helpers. I would love to hear a little bit about your process and having your helpers with you.
Well, my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, and her friend came and helped, because when I painted it, there weren't any customers, and we were upstairs. So it just was a fun process that they helped me with. And they thought they were pretty important.
They are.
But so, yeah. She's helped me with other burn quilts also.
Okay.
My granddaughter has, so, yeah.
How do you go about choosing colors? Because I remember sitting with you with the color wheel. We had all the paint colors. How do you process what those colors are going to be and how you're going to complement or contrast them?
Well, I've always been a color crazy woman. My kids tell me I'm a color snob, but I just I don't know. We wanted something bright and vivid, and so that was kind of trying to, pull that so that people would see it when they drove down. And I knew that I worked with, of course, I cannot think of her name. Bonnie, thank you. Oh boy, I worked with Bonnie, and we talked about some of the colors she liked, and so we went from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your talent. How many barn quilts have you done? Do you know?
I don't. I know that I've taught over 2,500 women and about 60 brave men over the few years. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but as far as how many I've done, I'm not even sure anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for having one right on Main Street.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I am here with Sammy, who did what some call their favorite. People are posting it, their favorite. Help the hand of one person, help a community. It's on Mid-Country Bank. So many people love it. Talk to us about your design. I have your original in there,
Right.
that you literally walked in. So tell us about that design and what you thought when you saw, oh, I could do a mural. I should do this.
Well, I think that when we took the mural class, it was just kind of one of the spur of the moment things with a friend of mine. And I think after hearing your presentation about, like community and this whole project, bringing them together, is when community entered my head. But I think in the long run, as I was designing it, I started to think more about kind of the past and, events in my family that the community really came together to help and to help us rise, basically.
Yep.
So I think a lot of that was with me in the process of making it. And then I have really strong ties to art. Like my good friends are artists, and I have some family members who are artists. My mom always pushed the art thing, so I just was.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I thrived with it. So
Right?
yeah, I was
because
very
now
happy.
you've got this massive mural with a
Yeah.
fabulous message on it
Yep.
in downtown.
Right. I know. I'm so excited.
And you grew up here. I love that.
Yeah, second grade.
I love that.
Yep.
So, did you start in second grade, really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to talk offline. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I am curious about, well, we should just share with people because we had a lot of partners, like you said. It took a lot of people to make this happen.
Yep.
You were actually able to paint at Ridgewater.
Yep. Yes. Which was very awesome because they first put me in the art room and they were very accommodating. Like it was amazing. If I needed a janitor to help me move something, they were right there.
Aw.
If I needed them to turn on lights, unlock doors, they were there, But then it took longer than expected.
Yep.
Classes were starting, so they they were like, let's get you into a bigger, better room where you can just look at it completely up instead of piece by piece. And so we were able to put it up so I could see it together. So they have some giant rooms.
They were so excited to be able to help this project, and when you came in, they were like, "This is perfect." They were really excited and really grateful to be able to help.
Yeah, I was grateful for their help too.
Yeah.
So we helped each other here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for not only submitting, but the whole follow through. Your beautiful piece. It's going to be part of Hutchinson for a really long time.
I hope so. That's what I'm excited about.
Yay!
Thank you.
All right, I am here with the executive director of the Hutchinson Center for the Arts, Molly Rivera. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here. Lots of people here tonight to celebrate our artists. I just want your perspective. You work in the arts, you support the arts. It's what you do every day. What does having a project like this mean for a community like Hutchinson?
I mean, I think first and foremost, it just adds to the vibrancy of a community. It makes it exciting. This whole project, we brought together so many different people from all different backgrounds, and it just really strengthens the community here. Not to mention, it adds to the tourism. People are coming here, they're taking pictures.
I'll take it.
Well, yeah, that's what you do.
Yep.
So, like we have little brochures printed up that people can take an art tour, and we've already had groups come to the art center asking about it, and yeah, so it's really great.
Yeah, we love that. One of the things that we identified right away as a committee, and you, of course, were on the committee because, duh, right? We needed you. We said that we knew that art heals and that our community, like many communities around the state and the country, needed some things to heal, right? We've been through a lot in the last 4 years. At the time we were talking about 3 years. But it's a way to heal and bring people together. And then also placemaking. Pride of place is really important to people. And when you've had literally your handprint on a wall, right?
Right.
So many artists were able to incorporate other people. What do you see or what do you think about when people are gathering together to create a piece of art?
I mean, I just think that when people come together and they, work with someone they maybe never would have talked to before, and they start to build connections that they wouldn't have otherwise. And I think having a project to work on together and having an end goal with other people, it just really strengthens those bonds that you have. And then, if you're out at the grocery store and you say, hey, we painted a mural together,
Right.
and then, I just think it's a really great way to strengthen community.
Amen, sister. I feel like we're winning.
Yeah.
And we're winning so much. We're going to do a second round, aren't we?
Yeah.
Applications are available now. Great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here and
Yeah.
for being part of this process. It's been a joy to work with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for including me.
Yep.
It's been fun.
I am with Hannah Anima, who is not a newbie to murals. You have murals all over the state, don't you?
I do, and I'm doing one tomorrow as well at the new T-shirt shop, Golden Tea.
Ah,
Golden Tree
awesome.
Tea.
Awesome. I love that. They loved your work inside the entry there of 101 Park Place.
Yep. That's actually the Bobbing Bobber is kind of what started off my
Okay.
Hutchinson mural adventure, then 101 Park Place, and then Participate Art.
Yeah.
Participate
So
Hutchinson.
we're really lucky to have your art here in town on such a big display. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun.
Do you have a favorite? You have 3 pieces. They're all very different. Do you have a favorite?
For sure, the Minnesota Huntress Paradise.
Yeah.
Just because that was, an original concept turned into a design, all of the colors and that. Probably the most complex design I did.
Yeah.
So for sure that one.
Yeah, super fun when people come in and go, oh, these murals are so cool. And I go, have you seen the one back here? Because I feel like it's ours, even though it's not on our building, but it's in our back parking lot. I get to see it every single day. It was so fun watching you as it progressed through, right, all the different stages. But people are just in awe because there's so many pieces to it, too.
Yeah.
You kind of can't just go, oh, right?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
kind of got to work through it.
Got to find all the critters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. You work outside.
Yes.
You work in nature.
Mm-hmm.
You paint nature.
Yes. And have always kind of, I don't know if I'd call it a battle, but trying to decide what is my favorite nature art has always been tough, So they're
Right.
just kind of both up there, and they both play a role in each job. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of fish around the state.
Yes. Yep.
And the plan is to do more.
Yep. Yeah.
And you just did an art show. I just saw that you were in the cities this
Yep.
last weekend at an art show.
It was actually my first non-art vendor market. It was the Minnesota Ice Fishing Expo. So I was one of very few artists there. Mostly it was, outdoor gear, ice fishing gear. So it was really fun to have that niche where people could come and
Right.
see fish artwork. As well as everything else that was offered
Well,
there.
maybe
So-
we'll get a fish next year, a bigger fish than what's back here.
Oh, yeah. Big
Yeah.
bluegill or something. Those are my favorite.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Thank you so much for being part of the committee and also this project. You have infused so much energy and knowledge into it. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I invite you to take a look at the murals yourself. They're all over town. If you need a map, you can stop at the chamber. Otherwise, it's a hunt. Remember, there's 13 of them, 11 are downtown. And be watching for the new ones in 2024.